There is a long queue outside, but we will need to start because our time is limited before everything else starts for the Global Progressive Mobilisation. I am Macris Cabreros. I am the Global Coordinator of the Progressive Alliance. We have asked for a room here at the venue outside the show because it will start in an hour, everything. Because many of you are asking to meet comrades and many of you are asking for updates on the critical issues facing our movement, especially in the ongoing wars and conflicts. So we are taking a short time before we go to the 60 different events. So there are 60 different events happening from 11 o'clock to tomorrow at 6:30 or 6 p.m. And this is just reserved for us who know each other already so that we can get to reconnect with comrades. So for this morning, we will have updates from the comrades that we invited this morning before they proceed to the other events coming from Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East. We will, after their talk, we will break for you to get your cards exchanged and to set your bilateral meetings as you requested. There is a small meeting room of the Progressive Alliance after the exhibition hall, and it is getting filled out by your request. So please, if you can schedule bilaterally and find a place for your bilateral meetings, that would really help. The third one is we are here, of course, if you have questions about what will happen. But I will not put that on the floor, but we can, of course, do that while you're here and before you leave to the other events. What do we expect in the Global Progressive Mobilisation? The Progressive Alliance is a co-organizer of the event. There are 5-6 international organizations organizing this big event of the year among progressives, and we are happy that PSOE, the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, and the president of the party is hosting this. The program is already packed. You have the schedule on the website, and you have also the map and the info point in this venue. So just to orient everyone, the line here are all the session halls along this lane, and then you have the exhibition hall, and then the meeting rooms and the plenary hall. That is already your technical information for the day. Welcome everyone. We have a fantastic panel coming from the member parties of the Progressive Alliance. We will be giving them the opportunity to also update us and for us also to hear critical issues that are happening today before we all go to our events. I am very happy that our comrade from Ukraine, Lebanon, Iran, and later Venezuela is coming to update us. But to open our Progressive Alliance Connect, I am happy to welcome the Presidium member of the Progressive Alliance, National President of Australian Labour Party, our dear friend Wayne Swan, to welcome us all for our meeting today. Wayne, welcome.
Thank you very much, Macris. It's going to be fantastic to see so many comrades from around the world come together to see if we can do a lot more about defeating the authoritarian right, and in particular, MAGA. I come from a long way away, like 30,000 kilometres to get here. But it's so important at this moment in time in world history that the left is united, absolutely united in defeating the authoritarian right and what they do to working people. I represent the Australian Labor Party. We're a social democratic party, and we're one that is associated with the union movement. And I've always agreed with the sentiment of our founders, which is the unity of labour is the hope of the world. And that couldn't be more true here today, given what is going on, particularly in this city. There is no city anywhere in the world that is more reflective of the struggle of the left to beat the right than this city of Barcelona. And there are lessons from what occurred in Barcelona many, many years ago, back in the 1930s, where the left wasn't as unified as it should have been. And the consequence of that was the rise of fascism and the winning of fascism for over a generation. So that's a warning to all of us that when we come here, we resolve to be united in standing up for our values. And our values are principally the values that look after working people, looking after the working class, making sure that their living standards are decent and putting in place policies to look after them. And this could never be more important than in the middle of a cost of living crisis, which is hurting the working class around the world and which is being exploited by the parties of the right. We can beat the right. We have to be organised, we have to be unified, so let's go and do it. And let's use this conference to renew our resolve that we're going to beat MAGA. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, for the call for unity and the motivation to start the tone of our conference for these next 2 days. Before I present the panelists, I would like to acknowledge the party leaders who came in. Comrade Jameson from Zimbabwe, so that everybody knows you. Monica Fain from Argentina, warm welcome to you. Comrade Virayut from Thailand, warm welcome to you. Comrade Mustafa from PNI Palestine, warm welcome to you. Mr. Ogawa from Japan, a warm welcome to you. Welcome to the Progressive Alliance Conference. Of course, the representative of the Indian Party, the former foreign minister, is here. Dr. Khurshid from Indian National Congress. And our party leader from Canada, Lucy Watson, is here. Welcome, Lucy. We will have the opportunity that you exchange their cards, so I already acknowledge the party leader from Yemen, Dr. Maliki. Welcome. Welcome. Comrades, terrible times at the moment, but the Progressive Alliance had already been active on not only listening, but unifying our positions and unifying our stance on many of the issues that we face today. What is important today is to hear updates from what is happening from the issues that we had already taken positions on. So we are delighted to have our comrades today giving us an update for 5 minutes. It can take 5 months, but we have 5 minutes, and then we will open for you to ask them questions before we leave for the next round. I will start with the chairman of the SD platform Ukraine, Bohdan Ferens. You have the floor.
Yeah, thanks a lot, dear Mohris, dear Progressive Alliance, for this invitation, because it's quite difficult to predict if you will have a chance to attend this kind of event when you are living in the country that now is facing, unfortunately, the brutal Russian aggression and war. But anyway, I reached a 24-hour trip, not so easy, with train, with plane, but my first time in Barcelona, and it's a big privilege to meet all comrades from different parts of the world. For me also, honestly, it's not so easy task. From the one hand, to give you update what's going on now in the context of Russian war against Ukraine. But from another part of this, I would like to inspire you also, not only to talk about this brutality that our countries now are facing with unpredictability of the situation in different parts of the world with dictatorships, with wars, with, uncertainties. But anyway, I think we should also find some inspirations despite difficulties. And this is what Ukrainian people are demonstrating for years. Unfortunately, years of the Russian war had passed and is still continuing this war. And it means that before my trip, Kyiv was brutally attacked by Russia. My wife just sent me a picture when the drones were flying under my apartments. And it means that, unfortunately, you have to face this reality. You have to somehow adapt to this reality. But what I want to mention, we all have to not give up with the idea to achieve peace. The Russian war will end, definitely. I don't know when. I think we all don't know when. I think Trump doesn't know when. But it doesn't mean that we should adapt to the reality when the wars are continuing for 1 month, half a year, 1 year, and years. It's not a good for, progressive policies. It's not a good for some future, for young people. It's disaster for people who suffered mostly. I'm representing Social Democratic Platform of Ukraine, and we are working predominantly now with veterans, with young veterans. We have our members 22, 23 years old, and now they are veterans. It's also a different mindset in our society, and we, as progressives, we have to change these approaches to create more inclusive society when the war will end. And with this, we need your support. We need your experience. When I stepped from the metro here, I just had the chance to see the streets of Barcelona, so inclusive. And I realized that only with progressive politics, we will have, as Ukraine, a chance to rebuild our nation, to help the most vulnerable groups, as veterans, as women, as children, maybe to return some part of our Ukrainians, because it's also necessary to rebuild our country in more fair way. But now it's not so easy to say that we are at the end of this brutal conflict. Unfortunately, not a lot of attention on Ukraine now, unfortunately, and on Russian war. And it's not so easy to compare and compete with some other conflicts, to be in media also, of Western side and political discourse. And big thanks to Progressive Alliance that they put this into the agenda, into the topic, and we will have another today panel on also Russian war. It means that anyway, despite any challenges that I'm mentioning, we are still resisting as Ukrainians, as a nation, against this Russian war. We still believe, and we will do our best to rebuild our society in more fair way. And we, as Social Democrats in Ukraine, definitely need your support. Thanks a lot. We'll be happy to answer to your questions. 5 minutes.
Perfecto. Bohdan, thank you. I appreciate that you do not speak about how horrible, even it's so horrible, but you are already looking at how do we rebuild Ukraine through having more international support and attention now that that the world is really unraveling in different parts, and the vision and the action of the SD platform to reconstruct the society in Ukraine is also something that we can admire as a movement. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
While we speak here, there is continued war in Lebanon. We are happy, proud, honored that you made it here. Manal, I know that it was very hard to travel here for you. You are the president of the women organization of PSP Lebanon. we read the papers, no? On what's happening, but please give us the perspective of the party, how it is now for you while we are here at the Global Progressive Mobilisation. Please.
First of all, good morning, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about the complex situation in Lebanon. In fact, we cannot talk about Lebanon in isolation from the region, because all started when the United States and Israel, through a unilateral decision and in violation of the international law, launched the war and on Iran and destabilizing the entire region. In Lebanon, we are not talking about 1 month ago war. We are talking about 14 months of hostilities from despite the declaration of the ceasefire on November 2024. We have been living for over 14 months of daily escalation from Israel. We had hundreds of casualties with no meaningful international solidarity or accountability. At the same time, the Lebanese state, by the ministerial statement and the oath, presidential oath, they took the decision to start moving toward placing weapons under the authority of the state, and has started calmly and wisely to implementing this process. But despite everything, recently, after 14 months, in March, Israel launched another war in a larger scale on Lebanon. Today, the scale of the war is overwhelming. Around 1 million people, 20% of the population in Lebanon, is displaced now, with over 2,100 killed and 700 injured. Just 1 week ago, I don't know if you heard on the media, in 10 minutes, 100 of strike, 300 killed. Until now, we still have bodies unidentified. It was not an attack. It was really a barbaric assault on a civilian city. It was a war crime. But beyond the numbers, and we as Lebanese, we have a deeper issue. We increasingly feel that we are being treated as collateral damage, not only in Lebanon. Palestine is another example on this. But we are not collateral damage. We are a human being. We have dreams, life that matters. We have families, children who deserve safety, and societies that aspire to dignity and peace. And we have the right, like anyone else, to live in a more equal and just world. We have to work together as left to say no and enough to double standards and enough to selective humanity. Yesterday, President Trump announced in Lebanon 10 days of ceasefire, presenting himself as the hero who has stopped another war. Really? Can we believe this? It's a pure hypocrisy from Trump, who is unconditionally support Netanyahu in his attack in Palestine and in Lebanon. But what we need, and we need your support on the international level. We don't need a temporary ceasefire. We want to stop the war. We need people to return safely to their village, the liberation of the occupied South, and the return of prisoners of war, the demarcation of our lands, maritime and land, the reconstruction of what has been destroyed by Israel, and most importantly, holding Israel accountable for its crime. Today, Lebanon, maybe you heard about this, we started negotiation for the first time, direct negotiation between Lebanon and Israel. Lebanon, for the first time, is speaking for itself, negotiate for itself, and defend its sovereignty. For us as PSP, we need to ensure, and we have to ensure, and we hope so, that the negotiation track remain independent from Iran. And what we are doing as PSP now at the moment, and we have a very, very important role on the Lebanese, in the Lebanese context. Since the day one of the war, our party has taken a critical responsibility, working to create a broad political and social umbrella through dialogue with all actors. As you know, the Lebanese society is divided, and we have a lot of political actors. And what we are afraid of now is the internal conflict. And here PSP has a very critical responsibility, and they are working, President Jumblat is working with all the Lebanese actors to prevent the internal conflict and the civil war. So we don't need a statement, we need active solidarity, and thank you.
Thank you, Manal. Thank you for also situating not only the external force, no, but also how fragile it is within the Lebanese society, what is happening in the country at the moment. I'll go straight to our comrade friend, party leader from Iran, Dr. Majiki, for the perspective now. We do not want the Iranian regime as a brutal regime. The respect for international law is now at the heart of the debate. What's the take of your party on this very fragile, and that is already being generous on describing it, on this really terrible, complicated situation that now the Iranians are in? Please, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mustafa Hijri, the Secretary General of the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan. Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan is one of the main opposition group that it has been in challenge with the Iranian regime and established about 8 decades before. Now, I am talking about the situation of the Iranian regime and also the Kurds in Iran and opposition groups there that they are challenged against the Iranian regime. Dear comrades, thank you for this opportunity. It is an honor to stand before a gathering of progressives who understand that the struggle for democracy in one country is the struggle for the democracy everywhere. I bring you greeting from the Kurds in Iran, a nation that has resisted dictatorship for more than 8 decades and who have been at the forefront of the struggle for the democracy in Iran. Comrades, the world speaks of Iran in language of nuclear fire and oil prices. It really speaks of the Kurds, the Baluch, the Arab Ahwazi, the women in Evin prison, the workers whose strikes are crushed, the torture, the execution, or the mass slaughter of peaceful protesters. Iran is a torture prison for its citizens, and peace or stability for region or the world is not possible without a democratic future. Recognizing this truth should be the priority of progressive forces all around the world. With the Iran-US war reshaping the Middle East, the danger to our party and the Kurdistan people has never been higher. We face threats not only from the regime in Iran, but also from its proxy groups in the region. Since late February, Iran has attacked our party close to 100 times with the ballistic missiles and drones. The attacks against camps run by our party have been indiscriminate, targeting hospitals, schools, civil homes, and water and electricity supplies. In the middle of all this, our challenge is to place the future of all of the Iran's different nations at the center of the international conversation before others decide our fate without us. To do this, we must present an alternative to the regime. In February, together with other Kurdish political parties, we found the Alliance of Political Parties of Iranian Kurdistan. We are also engaging other political groups in the broader Iranian oppositions. This is done with the hope of building a democratic alternative worthy of the sacrifice of all the people in Iran who have been killed, imprisoned, and tortured by this regime. This is our most important task, and you can all play an important role in this process. We do not come asking for charity. We ask for solidarity, the kind that progressives once gave to the ANC in South Africa by doing these three things concretely. First, political recognition. Raise our voice in your parliaments, in the European Parliament, and at the United States. Ask, what about the Kurds? What about political prisoners? What about the executions? Do not engage in silent diplomacy with the regime it only plays in the hands of the regime by giving it legitimacy. Second, demand accountability for the cross-border attacks on Kurdistan political refugees in Iraqi Kurdistan. These are war crimes against people under international protection. Your parties can move resolutions. Your government can impose costs. Third, partnership in White House into your policy work on Iran, on the Middle East, on democratic transition. Invite our expertise on Iran-related matters.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor. We are taking your 3 points, the concrete proposals that you said. Our board members are here from the different continents, and we hear your proposal for how to support you in solidarity. And we hope that we also take the opportunity to get you in bilateral meetings to also forward these concerns, not only within the Progressive Alliance, but to the many other organizations and politicians that are here today. We are honored that you came here to dialogue with us. Last but not the least, last but not the least, I got already the cue from the next crowd, but we will not end this without hearing the January opening in the other hemisphere. We have our comrade from Venezuela, spokesperson of the party AP, Dariana, Iglesias, Polo. Please, what is now, after the abduction, after the government is installed and there is a negotiation, what is your party's take on the future of Venezuela, or the present short term of Venezuela?
Hello, thank you. Greetings for everyone, and thank you to the Progressive Alliance for the opportunity and to put Venezuela in the global discussion. I don't know if I can speak in Spanish. Everyone has translation. Thank you. Sí, actualmente en Venezuela la situación varió un poco después del 3 de enero. Bueno, puedo esperar un segundo a que los compañeros se coloquen la traducción. I can speak in English too, but my English is a little bit bad, so I prefer to express in Spanish.
No, go ahead. We have announced that we have translators, so go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the current situation in Venezuela is very difficult because we have so many problems the last few decades. So now, with the facts of the January 3rd, it's not too different because the last government of Nicolas Maduro is the actual current by the Delcy Rodriguez. But we confront three main problems that we have. I have some lines here. The first, the economic crisis. The economic crisis will originate from the fall on oil price, poor government management, and corruption, obviously. However, this crisis has been significantly aggravated by the imposition of economic sanctions of the United States and the European Union, which have primarily targets by oil production, thus impact the entire country's economy. And while the United States have lifted some sanctions, the events of January 3rd, it's necessary that all of them be lifted so that our economy can function normally and fairly. The second challenge is the political polarization. We still have political polarization in Venezuela. Venezuela has long been divided between political extremists. We have only generated more conflict and distance from the possibility of progress. We have been governed by an authoritarian left. On the other hand, there has been a far-right opposition backed by the United States. that focus on demanding sanction and soliciting intervention in military interventions. Meanwhile, progressive and democratic and pacifist sectors in Venezuela have focused on the struggle for dialogue, for understanding, for negotiation, as a necessary mechanism to resolve the country's political, economic, and social problems. The other challenge is the institutional instability, because the aforementioned economic and political crises have generated significant institutional instability in Venezuela, leading citizens to lose confidence in state institutions and their capacity to positively impact the life of the population. So in this regard, my party, Cambiemos Citizen Movement, in particular, proposed a grand national pact to guarantee stability, governability, and the alternation of power, which is very important in Venezuela. Without this, without the recognition, political recognition, without the dialogue, without the understanding and negotiation, Venezuela will remain perpetually in conflict. And it will be very difficult to build a sustainable solution to the citizen problems. So that's why we invite to the international community, the Progressive Alliance, to strengthen the solidarity and highlight this proposal to a grand national pact in Venezuela.
Thank you very much, Dariana. Thank you very much to Cambiemos for this national project that you are now building, and we hope to be able to support you as a political movement. We are now to wrap up this soon, and this is only an introduction to PA members who are coming here to this conference. But we will need to continue the discussion in the next 2 days, and also to submit to the board these updates and the proposals concretely that you proposed. National reconciliation, sustainable peace, solidifying also the internal dynamics within the country in the face of external aggression. We value your time here, and we know that it has been hard for you to be able to come. And we value that we will be able to take your time and also pursue these issues that you updated us with. But for now, comrades, this is already our introduction time. You are invited in the over 60 activities involving our Presidium members, our board members, our party leaders, and sister parties here at the Global Progressive Mobilisation. I said in the beginning that this is the time to exchange cards before we scatter in whole of the events. But thank you for taking your time as Progressive Alliance to get to know the comrades today. There are over 70 parties that are here from across continents. And the Progressive Alliance is bringing both Global South and the sister parties coming from long distance. So please take that opportunity. I have already acknowledged the party leaders that are present here. Thank you very much. I almost forgot my party leader from the Philippines, Risa Ontiveros, the party leader from Turkey, Comrade Tulay, thank you for coming here. So please take your time. And the comrade from Nicaragua, the party leader, comrade, thank you for coming here. Please, you know the PA Secretariat. If you have questions, and please look around at the map and your schedule. The next program of the PA will be in the afternoon together with the Friedrich Ebert Foundation. You have it, the title is Shaping Our World Together. So we invite you there so that we can continue the discussion. Tomorrow, our Presidium will also have their panel. The title is Progressive Approaches for a New World Order. Please also go there so that we continue the discussion there with our Presidium. But in all others, you will find us, and those that are in the room are also speakers. So thank you, Bohdan, Manal, Dr. Hijri. Thank you, Dariana. Wayne, thank you very much for welcoming us here. And we'll see you around, comrades. Have a good morning.